Welcome everyone. My name is Agnieszka and I work for the Civic Urban Design Department in the city of Bydgoszcz. During this presentation, I will take you on a boat trip around the town. Along your journey, I will show you some water-related projects that have already been undertaken, as well as some that we are hoping to undertake in the nearest future. First, let's start with just a few words about Bydgoszcz. Bydgoszcz is located in the center of Poland, well, maybe slightly to the north, but centrally by the very important waterways junction that links North, Black and Baltic Seas. Throughout the history, Bydgoszcz grew thanks to a water transport, related industry and trade. Later on, due to a coal rail which was built around 1930s that links southern mines with 3 city ports to the north. We have 2 town centers, Bydgoszcz and Fordon, which before 1973 was our autonomous town. To this day, Fordoners travel to Bydgoszcz and not within it, they still live in Fordon town. Bydgoszcz is also located on the crossroads of main Polish cities. Our airport provides direct flights to England and Germany and through the Warsaw Airport to the rest of the world. International waterway E70 runs through the center of Bydgoszcz and is linked to international waterway E40 that sets eastern city border. There is also River Brda that links Bydgoszcz with Kronowo and Smukawa Lake region, a prime recreation area for our citizens during hot summer days. Before we start our boat trip, it has to be said that after the war, Polish waterways were underinvested and consequently lost their transport capacity and importance. A lot to be said, but we believe that eventually Polish waterways will be regenerated to accommodate for transporting the ever-increasing volume of goods that are being shipped to 3 city ports. Nonetheless, within city borders actions have been taken already. In 1998, Bydgoszcz started a project called Returning the River to the City. The aim of this project was to develop a series of attractive public spaces along Bydgoszcz waterways in the city center. The project was a success and followed by programs that looked into restoring and developing public spaces across the whole town. Since 1998, Bydgoszcz is constantly investing the waterways as well as connected recreation spaces and sport facilities. Our initiatives have been noticed nationally and internationally. We started our actions with basics, such as cleaning our waters. Since 1998 till 2012, we built or renovated some 300 kilometers of sewage pipes, together with 60 kilometers of rain water pipes and the development of water intake and treatment plants. Now, going back to our map of Bydgoszcz. Within city borders, different parts of our waterways have diverse, unique characteristics, which I will try to illustrate on subsequent slides. River Brda. We can start our journey from Janowo Recreation and Allotment Complex, which is located to the north and within the area of outstanding natural beauty of Kronowo water region. We will travel from Janowo to Bydgoszcz town center using kayaks. On the way, we will see high river banks, forests and the pure nature. Later on, we can see first settlements, housing which is integrated with the landscape. In Smukawa, we will experience manhandling our kayaks through a local water plant. In the future, we are hoping to restore facilities that would allow us for transporting even larger boats. From Smukawa Lake down to River Brda, together with a construction of a local river marina. Perhaps one day it will be a nice stop for our smaller yachts on the way from Kronowo Lake region to Bydgoszcz. Moving towards town center, we will experience wild nature and informal activity such as fishing and swimming, which was not possible not so long ago when the Brda was polluted. River Brda is now among the cleanest rivers in Poland, and water intake plant is located nearby. Alternatively, to River Brda, we could travel to Bydgoszcz using Bydgoszcz Canal, located to the west. Bydgoszcz Canal was built in 1774 and is the oldest operating canal in Poland. We could start our journey from a new marine in Nakło, a town nearby. On the way to Bydgoszcz, we'll experience several water locks, our industrial heritage, which are needed to connect the canal with River Vistula. The difference in height between these two waterways is nearly 31 meters. There are 6 water locks within the city of Bydgoszcz. On the way to town center, we will observe a wide range of activity taking place on canal banks, such as jogging, cycling and fishing. On occasions, if we are lucky, we could also see sailing classes for the youngest from a local elementary school. We will pass next to a storm arena, go through the highest water logs, over 2 stories high, and eventually enter town center. However, if we choose to stop for a while at a storm arena, we could take a walk to the town center along Old Bydgoszcz Canal and historic water logs. Old Canal Park was regenerated not so long ago. It is one of the most astonishing recreation areas in Bydgoszcz that produces beautiful scenes. Now we will travel through Bydgoszcz waterfront and will stop for a while to see the effects of local regeneration project. Basically, whichever waterway we choose for travel, Canal or Brda, will enter Bydgoszcz underneath old rail bridges that from a water perspective can be seen as a town gate. This part of Bydgoszcz waterways has been revitalized and new embankments and boulevards have been built. Also, water trams have been introduced, and I suggest we will now use them to continue our journey. So, our first stop is Astoria, a swimming complex which soon is to be rebuilt, providing Olympic-length swimming course together with additional recreation and sport facilities in the area. Next stop, Higher School of Economy, where a new private marina is planned. After going through a civic waterlock, we will now enter a historic city core with a new marina and some related water-based activity, which I will say a few words about in just a moment. Where we stop, at the fish market, we can experience Bydgoszcz waterfront. On the left bank, you can see old post buildings as well as old grain elevator. On the right, there are some more of historic grain elevators, Lloyd building, and new Brewery Bank buildings. In Bydgoszcz, waterfront has a unique scale that is kept even by modern constructions. Thanks to that, while walking on river banks, we do not feel overwhelmed, and it is a pleasant environment to rest. The scale of our waterfront is adjusted to our cozy river. Now, I would like to illustrate to you the transformation of the Mill Island and nearby streets that has taken place over the past 2 decades. Over 2 decades ago, the Mill Island was degraded part of town center and used as a parking lot. After the adoption of returning the river to the city project by the council, town governors started to regenerate the site. The first objective was to encourage private investment in the area. For that reason, in 2007, a job and enterprise center to support startups was established in one of the historic buildings on the island. In addition, a small historic canal was restored to provide for a vital public space, and 3 footbridges were built to help access the island. In 2009, we have completed the renovation of other historic buildings on the island. They now accommodate archaeology, art, and old coin exhibitions. At this point, it has to be said that Bydgoszcz, in around 16th and 17th century, used to produce coins for Polish Kingdom in nearby Mint, now the European Coin Center Museum. In 2011, the recreation area at the very heart of Mill Island was completed, providing for a prime public space in town. In the nearest future, we expect to see the regeneration of the Rotter's Mill for agriculture and leisure purposes. Finally, in 2012, we have constructed a Bydgoszcz Marina. This building is partly used as a hotel and restaurant and partly provides a water equipment, kayaks, motorboats, and so on that can be used by the public. In the past, it provided equipment only for sportsmen from the local club. This new marina is now an iconic building of Bydgoszcz, and the Mill Island is our major recreation leisure asset. Our public spending at the Mill Island was followed by private investments, the result of which can be best seen in Bydgoszcz Venice as well as on the Old Town streets. Private investments in the Old Town were supported not only with subsidies but also with regular meetings organized by the council during which private owners could express their needs. As a result, a multi-story parking was built and a number of other parking spaces in town was reduced to allow for street gardens during the summer. In addition, communal properties was offer lower rents for such establishments as the Museum of Dirt. We can now observe a new attractive public spaces owned by private investors across the town. In Bydgoszcz, there is also a private free market where you can buy local products. In addition, recently an old trading hall was bought by the city to be developed for a local handmade market, art and food products. Moreover, Bydgoszcz is investing in local parks, where you could experience a night concert with water features. There are also a rather small and soft initiative, such as providing flowers for free for local residents to make our streets even better looking. Bydgoszcz now offers public spaces where whole families like to spend their time. There are plenty of water-based activities that can be easily accessed by the public, including swimming in the clean water in the town center or water racing on random handmade boats. Throughout the summer, there are also free concerts on the Mill Island and by the Opera Building. Opera Building hosts such events as a camera image. We have briefly scanned through the town center, and now let's continue our journey towards Old Industry and Docks area. On the way, we'll see Archer's Sports Hall, which is home for our volleyball team, and occasionally hosts international games such as World Cup in 2014. On the left bank there is a Sunny Mill building, now used as a hotel. We now enter industrial part of our waterways. On our way we can see boats going towards town center. There is a cartodrome available for public use, and nearby a marina is planned. We will note old cable and plywood company buildings as well as old shipyard and sand docks. Behind, a railway bridge dating back to 1930s and being responsible for the growth of Bydgoszcz as a main coal route, there is a private marina, and later on a railway bridge that was a gate to Bydgoszcz historic woodport, nowadays a water race track. It is currently used for rowing and sailing, as there are many clubs around the track. Enough to say, since year 2000, rowers from Bydgoszcz constantly bring Olympic medals. Last year, we got 1 gold and 1 bronze from Rio. In this area there are plans for a new marina. Moving on, as we go through the last water lock, we will enter onto Vistula River. River Vistula. The first image shows the mouth of River Brda and indicates the skull of Vistula, a much wider waterway. On the way, we can still see old industrial buildings, such as this operating grain elevator, then a historic fortification hill, and a Millennium Park, which is currently used for informal recreation. Before we enter Old Fordham, we can admire a town panorama, as well as Fordham Bridge. which once was the longest in the country. From a water perspective, we can also see historic customs office building that in the past was used to collect taxes from vessels shipping goods on Vistula. Historically, Old Pordon was a town where before the war, three nations happily lived together: Germans, Poles and Jewish. There are three separate buildings in town, two churches and a synagogue. Since Old Pordon became a part of Bydgoszcz back in 1973, the area has not seen much investment and slowly became deprived. However, because of strong community movement, it is now a subject to local revitalization plans similar to those undertaken in the Mill Island. There are advanced projects and financial support provided to transform Fordon's boulevards into a vital area. People are active here. They organize meetings with city council representatives and try to push on towards more investments in town. They are coming with own ideas, plans and projects that are slowly being put in place. At the same time, we try to inspire them to undertake small actions similar to those inspired by the council in Bydgoszcz Old Town. A central to cultural events is an old synagogue building where exhibitions, concerts and meetings are being held, even though the building is still undergoing a renovation process. Moreover, a local association called Fordon Lovers is organizing such enormous events as war reconstructions. So, to sum up, Bydgoszcz and our waterways in particular are worth seeing because of clean waters and outstanding beauty, industrial heritage with operating clocks, a scale of our waterfront that is very pleasant for recreation. There is also a wide range of activity available for everyone and a great potential for much more. Thank you for listening. My name is Agnieszka Słotwińska and I work for Civic Urban Design Department in the city of Bydgoszcz.